All right, we are back from Louisville, back from the National Farm Machinery Show. It is now time to get back to work, try and get this planter wrapped up. Had a great time in Louisville, got to meet some viewers, probably about 15 of them recognized me and tracked me down. Got to spend a few minutes with them. Had a really good time doing that. So anyway, let's get back to work on this planter, see if we can get this thing wrapped up. All right, where we stopped the other day, we just gotten our air compressor mounted. Really good mounting position here. Pretty happy with that. Now we got to run our hydraulic lines from the compressor over here to our Delta Force and our alternator. So here's our two supply lines for the Delta Force. We're going to put some T's on these two, run them to here, and then we got our case drain line that here's our case drain line for the alternator. We're going to put another T on that and hook it up here to this, and then check the oil in the compressor, and we should be able to power it up and see if we build air pressure. That'll be the next thing before we start running all of our airlines and everything. All right, we got everything plumbed up. No leaks that I can see. We've hooked it up to the tractor and run the hydraulics. It's pumping, doing what it needs to do. So I guess now we get to run airline from the tank all up and down the toolbar, and then we'll run it to the airbags on each unit. All right, what airline is what?
How many feet is that?
It says 150 foot.
This one.
What diameter is that? Is that a little bit bigger?
4A.
That's 4A2.
Monitor. Your control box.
Alright, so we're going to have three lines going up the cab. One's going to be suction for the air compressor to pull clean air in, and then air line going to the box, and then from the box all the way back here going to the clean sweep. And then we're going to have another line going up and down the toolbar. It's going to go to all these control modules for the furrow force.
Yep. I'll be a black, a silver, and a brown. The brown is your tank pressure. The silver is your... The black is your downforce, and the silver is your lift.
Guess I better dig the instruction manual out again online and make sure before we start cutting and splicing stuff.
I see instruction on this piece of paper.
That instruction ain't very thick though. That's pretty thick. Well, we didn't quite get a half day in on this planter day. Zach and I had some pesticide training to do this morning, but we had a pretty productive afternoon. We got about half of the airline roughed in, missing a few parts to finish it up, get that done in the morning. Zach's been working on checking bearings out. We got what, like 6 disc openers, bearings are down on. Got road cleaner fixed. Just going through all the hardware and everything and making sure it's going to go across another 1,600 acres, hopefully without giving us problems. It's all coming together pretty nicely though. We won't quite get done with it tomorrow because there's found out I'm gonna need some more parts we had to order. They won't be in until the next day. We found out we need some expansion hubs for the electronics here on the row unit. And by the time we find that out today, it was too late to have them in tomorrow. So get them in the next day. We should have the bulk of this thing roughed in tomorrow and hopefully be ready to do hook it up to the monitor and do a little testing out and see what kind of gremlins we got in all electronics and everything.
See how bad our houses are floating after the 27 inches of rain we got this morning.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't check my rain gauge. How much did we get? I would guarantee we got between 2 and 3 at least.
We didn't get 3 inches. We didn't get a drop. God, I ain't seen it rain that hard in a long time.
We had a pretty good storm system come through this morning. I think we got another one coming through this evening. And then we get a little bit of reprieve tomorrow, and then back at it again on Thursday on some heavy rain.
Oh no, they're calling for freezing rain now.
No, I saw that. I saw one forecast could get some more freezing rain.
Yay.
Don't make me a difference. It's already done about all the damage it's going to do to my yard. Well, we're going to head on home and get back at it in the morning. Try and get most of this planter wrapped up today, hopefully. Got our old hooded sprayer shipped off first thing this morning, so it's heading up to North Tennessee, Southern Kentucky to another farmer. Zach's gonna get parts for the planter and everything, and I'm gonna try and for the time being, I'm gonna be working on some of this airline some more. So let me give you a fast version of that, and then we'll bring you back when we get a little bit farther on. All right, well, we run into a snag, unfortunately. The problems that we've seen with the supply chain have raised their ugly heads once again. Right here, we've got a scraper for the insides of these discs. We got a disc off on this side anyway. We got a scraper here. And this one right here is worn down flush with the shank. And this is what, protects the shank plus cleans the mud, so we've got to replace them. Well, we got 23 units on this planter. Need 23 scrapers, and Zach just told me he got back from the parts store. Those scrapers are back ordered to the tune of about 2 months. And hopefully in 2 months, I'd like to have my corn planted. So I reckon I'm gonna call around a couple other parts places, and hopefully somebody's still got some in stock. But not having planter parts, with planting only a few weeks away, caused some big problems here.
H&R Hydropower, this is Tanya.
Parts, please.
What?
Yes, I'm Matt Griggs with Griggs Farms here in Humboldt. I need some parts on for a Kinsey planter. Hopefully y'all got them in stock, because other places I've checked don't.
Okay. You got the part numbers, or I need to look them up?
Probably look them up. I don't have them off the top of my head. It's only one part number. It's the it's the inside disc scraper that bolts to the shank.
Okay. You need the left and right both, or do you need?
No, this isn't the one that goes on the outside of the disc openers. It goes on the inside, in between the discs.
Yeah, it's like a little block.
Yeah, a wedge shaped piece.
I think we got some. If we ain't got any, we can get some.
According to the Kinsey store out of Hickman, theirs is like back ordered, like 2 months.
Well, I think if we ain't got none here or something, we might be able to get some through our other stores. You know how many you need offhand?
23.
23, okay. Here, if I get your number, let me call you back real quick once I get it looked up.
Yeah, it's 731. While I'm waiting on H&R to call me back, I just checked Shoot Parts. I don't know if you can read there now. It says back orderable right there. So they ain't got them either. So if H&R ain't got them, We just SOL.
You're gonna be babysitting displays every day.
Hello? I'm assuming as long as it took you, you ain't able to find none either.
No, I've got some.
Oh, you do?
I had 2 or 3 things going at once. Yeah, I ain't got any in stock. I can have some from another store here tomorrow afternoon.
Okay.
23 of them.
Tomorrow afternoon. All right, we'll go ahead and get them on the way. We'll come by and get them tomorrow. Hallelujah. Starting to get a little worried there.
I was worried at Bradford.
Well, hopefully we don't see nothing else on here that's got to be replaced. We might be SOL then. Well, all right. We got just about everything done we can get done right now. We got everything mounted. We got all of our air lines, electrical run all the way up here. We got 3 total air lines going to each unit. Got 2 over here. We got 2 over here going to the clean sweep, and then we got 1 over here going to the furrow force. We got our trunks. We got our trunks run all the way down the toolbar there. And the only other thing we can do now until we get some parts in is run the air line down the center post of the planter, down the tongue, all the way up to the tractor. But we're still waiting on a bracket for the monitor that goes in the tractor. We're waiting on some electrical hubs to go on each of the units to finish plugging all the wires up. And then we're waiting for some inner scrapers to come in on each of the units. Once we get that, all the units should be able to go back. Once we get the hubs, we can finish up the electrical. And then once we get the monitor bracket, we can get everything routed up into the cab and get this thing tested out. So all these parts are supposed to be in some point tomorrow. It might be close to midday, so I reckon we're going to call it a day now, and first thing in the morning I can run air line down the center post and down the tongue, and hopefully we'll about have this project wrapped up. So we'll see you back here in the morning. Well, look at what we woke up to this morning. That's right, ice storm number 2 for the year. Well, I don't hardly have a pine tree worth keeping now. It's done about stripped that one right there. Just what I want, more tree cleanup.
Griggs Farms, come on, this is Rachel. How can I help you?
Yes, I need to speak with somebody about some fuel.
Okay.
Yes, I'm Matt Griggs with Griggs Farms. What kind of price y'all got on dyed fuel on a bob truckload?
All right, let me look. Do you know about how many gallons?
Bob truckload's what, about 5,000 gallons?
I know we got anything that's over 1,000 gallons is because 1,000 gallons is the break point. Anything over 1,000 gallons will be $3.24 on the diet delivered.
Ooh, what?
$3.24 a gallon.
Well, that's pricey. Well, with the invasion of Russia into the Ukraine, I expect that just to go higher. I need to go ahead and get a truckload ordered, and that might be enough to get me through the year.
All right. You said the diet diesel.
Yes, sir.
Truckload. I got you down. It may be closer to Monday or so before we can actually get out that way with a full truck.
Okay, that'll be fine.
But that'll work. All right. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye. Well, with the events that happened yesterday with Russia actually invading Ukraine, that's going to create a busy day for us today, and not necessarily on the planter. With that actually happening over there, you think, well, that's really probably not going to affect us much, but it's going to throw these markets into a tizzy. You just saw me order fuel for this year because, you know, a lot of oil and stuff comes out of Russia. This could, I mean, fuel prices, oil prices are already high. I mean, really high. Well, they're probably about to go a whole lot higher, and for no telling how long. So our bulk fuel tank is about half full, probably about enough to get us through midsummer. Another bob truckload, 5,000 gallons, should be definitely enough to get us all year long. So at $3.24, is that expensive? Yeah, it's definitely expensive, but most likely there's a good chance it's going to get a whole lot worse, and for no telling how long. So I just don't know what to do. But on the flip side, my market report this morning, grain prices are probably going to go wild today too. I mean, we're talking about limit ups in corn and soybeans, wheat. Now, I don't know what cotton's going to do. Now, we already got a lot of our wheat booked, everything I feel comfortable with locking in right now. We've got a dang good price on it. Not what we could get for today, but we still got a dang good price. Average price somewhere in the low $7 range. Corn, we have not booked any corn yet. We've locked in our basis on a big part of our corn at 25 over, which is really good, but we have not locked in the futures price. We might just do that today, or I don't know, we might give it a couple days to see how far up these markets can go and try and hit them as close to the high as we can, just to ensure that we got a chance of covering all of these terribly expensive inputs and hopefully have a chance at making a profit too. We also haven't booked any soybeans yet. So we might be booking quite a bit of grain over the next couple of days, but I'll keep you posted on that. But right now we're kind of at a standstill until we get parts. We're just waiting to see which dealer calls us first that has the parts that we need, and we'll bring you back when we get word on that. And it's been steadily drizzling all morning, and the ice just keeps on building. Luckily, after losing power for about an hour and a half this morning, it's only blinked on and off a few times, but that could change at any moment. Good gosh, this stuff's done gotten thick. I guarantee you we got over 1/3 of an inch of ice on these trees right now. All right, Zach, we finally got these expansion hubs in. I guess we'll go ahead and put these on. What these expansion hubs do is allow all these electronics to give it one place to plug up to where it goes into the CAN bus system going back to the monitor. And with all these extra things that we're adding, there's not enough places on the original modules to plug this stuff up to where it can communicate, and that's what these things are for. Just it mounts up with this one bolt over here. Don't get it too awful tight, and then one of these you got a cable coming over here from the original module, and it plugs, I think it plugs in, let's see, right here. No, that's not it.
This is right here. Right there.
Yeah.
Yep.
And just plug it into there, and then hook the others up just like I've got this one, and then get our wires looped up nice and neat right there. Hopefully with any luck we can get this planter finished up today, but we're still waiting on the scrapers for all the units. So, and they're down there in the middle of the unit, so not only we got to get the scrapers, we got to get installed and get all the hardware and everything back on. And I don't think the scraper's probably going to be in until about lunchtime, so it could be a pretty tall order to get all of this buttoned up and done today. We're gonna give it a try though. Well, thinking it's one of the big problems I've been worried about for several months now has been solved this morning. That's right, we got a roundup for this year. Anyway, what we got here, we got 2 totes of Roundup, 500 gallons total here, and then we got one more tote coming from Co-op that we were able to source, and that should be all the Roundup we need this year. Now last year we paid $18 a gallon for this Roundup. This year, $50 a gallon. Well, actually this is $53 a gallon. The one I'm getting from Co-op is $50 a gallon. Over a 200% markup. But still, it's our best option on weed control to get a lot of the weeds that we need. You know, otherwise we'd have to go with combinations of chemicals that wouldn't work as well as Roundup, and would still probably be somewhere in the same ballpark on cost. So really been worrying about this for a while. But luckily we got our supply for this year, and then hopefully over the next 365 days, this supply chain can get back in sync and be getting us the chemicals we need at a more reasonable price. But for now, I'm just grateful to get what we can get, even if it is at a high price. All right, Zach should be just about back with the scrapers that we need to be able to put all these units back together. So we're going to try and get that wrapped up this afternoon, get everything put back together except for the final cables that we need. I made a mistake and forgot that when we added the expansion ports, we also needed another set of cables because we can't utilize the ones that was on there because they have to go to the expansion port. So those are supposed to be in Monday, but our goal is to get all this thing put back together to where Monday when we get those cables, we can slap those on, hook everything up to the tractor, and make sure all this stuff is going to work and talk to each other. Hopefully get it outside. Hopefully it's a little bit warmer Monday to where we can get this thing outside and take a look at it. All right, here we go. Got it all done. Let me give you a little tour of what the guts of it looks like before we put the box back on. Starting out, here's the clean sweep, not clean sweep, but the furrow force that we added on the rear to do a better job of closing the seat trench. And up here we got our clean sweep air cylinder, which can actually take some pressure off the row cleaners, actually raise them up, or it can put pressure on the row cleaners to force them down the ground, make them dig a little bit more, especially in our thick cover crop. And up here we got our Delta Force cylinder, all the hydraulic hoses going to it. Here's our main harness for each unit can harness. Goes down here to this is kind of the computer that reads each unit, and then coming out of it we've got cable goes over here to our expansion hubs. That's what we were waiting on to be able to plug all these other things up. And then this right here harness, that's for the load cell on the furrow force, and this right here goes to the air rate controller on the furrow force. This right here is the load cell for the whole unit for the Delta Force, the hydraulic downforce. And then right here is our harness for the sensor in the seat cube. And then the only thing we're waiting on now is a harness to go from our expansion port over to the electric motor that drives that actually drives the meter. And then once we get that in, this thing should be ready to go to the field. We've checked all the bearings. We've replaced about 6 bearings that were down. All the rest of them feel good and tight. All of our outside scrapers are fine. We replaced our inside scrapers. One row cleaner frame that was broken, we got that fixed. Everything else is ship shape on it. Shouldn't give us no problems planting this year, hopefully. So we're going to leave the rest of these boxes off until we get these cables in on Monday. But I think what we're going to do now, we're going to back it up to we're going to back the tractor up and hook the air compressor up and see if all this furrow force, see if all of it reads, and see if we can work our clean sweep cylinders, making sure we don't have any air leaks or anything like that. That's about all we can test until we get the rest of the harnesses in. But we'll try that and make sure we don't have no gremlins pop up. Let's keep our fingers crossed. All right, Zach, you reckon it's all gonna work? Let's test and find out. I already know you probably can't see it, but we got red lights on all of our air control modules down there, so that's good. It's going through and detecting all devices right now. Some stuff's going to pop up in the red because we don't have the V drives attached on the rears. Hopefully that'll be all that doesn't pop up. All right, not everything is peachy. We're showing 4 faults here on rows 2, 7, 8, and 9 on the furrow force, so we'll have to check that out. We'll do that in a minute. I'm going to try out this air tank, see if we can get pressure here. Make sure we're not getting any kind of leaks or anything. All right, we started getting pressure build up, but I can hear a leak in the cab, and I think Zach's finding all kinds of leaks back there, checking out. I think we got it fixed. I had 2 of these air lines backwards, but we got full tank pressure. See if we can raise the road cleaners here by turning this knob. Alright, so right there with that knob, just as right there is putting out it's like 65 psi. And then if we crank it on over, it'll put more down pressure on it. We'll raise it up. Heck yeah, this works nice. All right, on rows 2, 7, 8, 9, we got a fault on the ferrule ports on the load cell. Let's make sure this sensor here is plugged up real good. All right, everything's in the green. A couple of those load cells were a little too tight on there, and that's why they weren't being able to be zeroed out and calibrated properly, but everything's in the green. We got air pressure. Everything's working, or at least so far as we can tell with it folded up and parked in the shop. So I guess we'll call it a wrap on this project for now. We'll be hooking it up for real and going to the field before we know it. All right, that's going to do it for this video. Appreciate y'all watching. We'll be back with another shop project here again soon.